Oh, hello, monkeys. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was in the middle of my route routines. Yeah, I had to prepare for a scrim. I'm sorry about that. So, what makes you stop by? You're looking for something. What exactly are you looking for? You're looking for tips on how to play a game. Well, sure. How can I help? Okay, you want to learn how to run faster? You want to learn how to maneuver more cleanly? Okay, I guess I can help with that. You want to learn how to jump farther? Well, I mean, those are only 3 things, so I guess we can do that. Okay, guys, so I guess there was this person that stopped by and he wanted me to teach 3 things in my next video. And so I guess I'm deciding to do that. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you how to run faster, I'll be teaching you how to jump farther, and I'll be teaching you how to do more clean movements in Gorilla Tag. Now, I get a lot of compliments in community games such as Nemo and VR's games. Lex complimented me. Like J-Man complimented me once. I've gotten a lot of compliments on my speed. Now you might be asking, well, isn't there a max speed in Gorilla Tag? Yes, there is. Except, not a lot of people unlock that max speed. And I figured out a way to fully unlock the potential of max speed. Now, you're probably asking, how exactly do you achieve that? Well, now some people might thinking that running with a certain pattern boosts your thing, and it doesn't. Some people think that extending your arm out further, like that, boosts your speed. It doesn't. It is a combination of hard pushing, the amount of speed, and extending your arm. But those 3 factors combined will get you to the max speed that you need to be so that you can run away from any lava monkey. Now, here's the thing. This speed can get you away from any lava monkey up to the last 2. That's right. So if there's you and one other person, this can get you away from anything. So if you were to go in a head-to-head race with a lava monkey, when there are only 2 normal monkeys left out of a full 10 lobby, you could technically win this. And let me show you how. So, first things first, let's start over a place where we can have a nice clean path so that I can show you what to do for this. So, why don't we head over there near the original walls. Okay, monkeys. So, you're probably asking, why have we headed to this part of the map? Well, it's for several reasons. One reason is that if you switch over to my angle, that it is a straight path over to where you Lucio wall run. It is a straight, clean path, well, almost a straight, clean path with a few bumps here and there, but you get the point. There is a straight path all the way over to that wall, and it is the cleanest way that you can run across the map without having to interfere with any trees, as least bumps as possible, and it is one place to another across the entire map. Now, heading back over to the other view, we've come to this place for a different reason. We haven't actually need to use this part just yet. We don't need to use the running path just quite yet. What we actually need to do is go over to the walls. So, let's get up there. Okay guys, so we have actually made it to the top of the tree stump. This is where we can begin everything you need to know about running faster. Now, don't worry, I will teach you how to maneuver faster, and I will also teach you how to jump farther. This is just the basic idea of how to run faster. But, let's get into how to run faster. First things first, you will see behind me that there is almost a moon crescent shaped wall over here. This is the place where most people learn how to wall run and learn how to wall climb. Now, what we want to do here is we want to make our ways actually onto the wall. I'm going to be switching between the camera and I'm going to be switching between my headset just to show you how exactly we start off. So, let's hop onto the walls. For this part, I'm going to be using this camera just so I can show you exactly how I do this. Basically, what you want to do is you want to practice hitting as hard as you possibly can so that when you flick your wrist, you get a little bit of a jerk. So if you can see slightly, when you flick your wrist, you get a slight jerk, if you can see that in my video. So let me do it again. You can run and slight jerk. You see that jerk? It was a slight movement that boosts you a slight bit forward. Now, probably asking, well, that's just because you flick your hand back and forth and you jitter. That's actually not what happens. Basically, it's kind of like this. You go here, you flick, and it boosts you forward. Because what you do when you flick is instead of you just flicking, what actually happens is you're on the walls, you flick, your hand gets stuck, and when it releases, it boosts you forward like that. So, for example, if I were to head over to here, right, and I stuck my hand under, let's go over here further, I stuck my hand under, I would fling me like that, right? It flings me because it gets stuck. Same thing with this. You learn how to flick your wrist properly so that it gets stuck and then it shoots you forward. Now, you're probably asking, well, what do I say? You're probably wondering that, well, that's not even true. That's not part of the game. It actually is, because I figured that out the hard way. So, basically, that is how you do it. You need to flick your wrist in a certain way that it gets stuck and it boosts you forward slightly. So, I'm going to put a side-by-side timer here real quick of me doing it normally and me flicking my wrist. And you'll see the slight difference. It won't be big, but it will be a slight difference. So, as you saw in the video, that I had a slight time difference in those two runs. And that is the reason why it is important to flick your wrist so that it gets caught and flicks you forward just like that. It doesn't seem like much, but in the end game, it does boost a lot. So, now moving on to the second fundamental of running faster. So, basically, what you want to do is practice starting from the corner over there and just as hard as you can, pushing yourself forward on the slippery walls. Doesn't matter how high you get, doesn't matter how fast you do it, just as hard as you can, flicking your wrist and just as hard as you possibly can. So, let's head over there. Okay guys, so now that we're in this corner, you can either start from here and get momentum, which might be better for some people, but for me, I'll just show from here. Basically, what you want to do is push up a bit so you can get some height and push forward as hard as you can. So, in the end, it should push you all the way across the slippery walls, at least a little bit. Just like this. Just like that. It doesn't have to be high, just as long as you get across the entire section right there. Now, once you do that, make sure you can do that consistently. Okay. So, you get the point. Unlike me, who just is bad at the game and can't do it consistently, who tries to make these videos and miserably fails, but that's okay. You get the point. Basically, just get a good idea of what you're supposed to do here, get up on the walls, push forward, and you should be golden. Just make sure you practice over and over, and in general, just make sure you get up on the slippery walls and push as hard as you can. Now, once you've got those two steps down and in your head, we can head back down to right there so that we can head to the third and final step of teaching you guys how to run faster in Gorilla Tag. So, let's head down there right now. Okay, guys. So, basically, we have headed back down to this track where you can go from one corner of the map to the other without any bumps or whatsoever. You should know how to push as hard as you can and flick your wrist. Now, all we want to do is combine those two motions with a little bit of speed, and you can zoom across the map. Now, it does take a little bit of practice, but what you want to do is basically the general idea of what you want to do is gain as much surface area as you can by extending your arm as far as you can, but you don't have to have two long arms like that. It can be whatever. It can be here, it can be here, it can be all the way out there, but that's just preferred to some people, and it's kind of just how long your arms are. So, you want to extend your arm as far as out as you can. Right now, I'm not trying to extend it as much as I can. If I wanted to, I could extend it all the way out there and do it like that, but just for the sake of it, I'll show you how to do it like this. So, extend it out, catch the ground, flick your wrist, And at the same time you flick your wrist, go as hard as you possibly can. So, in a full motion, it looks something like this. Now, basically, you saw the little bits of flick there. Now, you also want to make sure you get the right amount of hardness too. But that is basically it. Once you combine those two, that's it. Just make sure you use all the speed you can and all the hits you can possibly take. One thing to keep in mind is that when you're running, every chance you get to throw yourself forward an inch more, whether it's an inch more, a centimeter more, a millicentimeter more, I don't even know if that's a thing. But like, if you can, every chance you get on the ground, you want to take that and push yourself forward, even if it's by the slightest. So if I'm going here and I tap myself forward like that, that could change everything. So when you combine everything I taught you together, it should look something like this. Now, you might be thinking, that doesn't look that fast. It looks like a normal running person. Well, if I actually put a side by side here, it's a lot faster than you think. So, watch this side by side, and then say something to yourself. Okay, so now you have the general idea of how to run faster in Gorilla Tag. So on the screen right here, I will put a small checklist that you can pause the video and write down if you need to. I will also put it down in the description. Some things you will need. Keep your movement as close to the ground as you possible, just like this, and not up. You want to keep your motions as vertical as you possibly can. I mean, oh my god, I'm bad at geometry. As horizontally as you possibly can, but in a vertical motion, so that it does something like this instead of this. And you can see that it does that. So that's the first thing. You will also need to push hard. You will need to flick your wrist. And you will also need to combine it with some speed. Those are the 4 things that you need to run faster. Now, let's head over to jumping farther. Okay, guys, so as you can see, we've made our way back to the stump here. Now, this is the place where you can make a lot of jumps. You can make jumps like ones in Apollo's video. You can make ones like in J-Man Curly Speedrun's video. There are a ton of jumps you can make here. Now, how exactly do we do these jumps? Well, good question. I will show you how to do those, but first, we need to get into a spot where we can actually jump far. So let's head over there. Okay guys, so as you can see, we have made our way to the place where a ton of jumps can be made. I would say that this platform right here is where all the massive jumps can be made, except for a few. So basically, there are so many jumps you can make. As you can see, there's a branch in front of me. You can jump from this branch to the branch behind that connects out a stump, as shown in J-Man Curly Speedrun video, the first one. There is one that goes off to the side. There's one that goes that way. There are just a ton of jumps that you can do from this platform. Now, getting into exactly how you can do those jumps. First things first. When jumping, you want to get as much momentum as possible, because momentum is basically the most important key in jumping. And as I just showed you in the previous part, you can run faster to get more momentum. So, combining what you know in the first part, you want to go to the second part, which is this part, and you want to use the first part to help you out. So, first things first. You want to run and get as much momentum as you possibly can. That's the first thing you need to know. Second thing is that when jumping on a branch like this one right here, you want to get as much distance as you can. So as you can see, this is where you think the hitbox ends. But if you scoot up, it is a very thin hitbox starting from here. And as you can see, I might fall here, so I might have to get back up. But as you can see, I am on a very thin part of this branch. And I keep going up, and I just fell. But moving back up here, you can see that it was very slim the way I moved up. Now, combining what you know with that, this is also part of the second step. When running, you want to make sure you perfectly time your jump so that you land right on the edge. Now, the reason why I fell there is because if you don't perfectly time everything in a jump, it will slide you off like it just did. So, what we want to do is we want to combine everything we know. It is hard to do one step at a time. So, we want to get momentum, land as far as you possibly can. So, if I were to perfectly time it, I would land right around this area. And then, what you want to do is, depending how far this jump is, you want to either hit as hard as you possibly can, or flick your wrist, hit as hard as you can, and walk slightly forward. Now, if you do it properly, you can make some jumps without walking forward, but it isn't consistent. So, I would just recommend walking slightly forward if you have a decent play space. But that is basically how you jump far. Now, to show you exactly what it looks like. So, for you to learn, let's switch over to my POV so that you can see it. Okay, so now that you're in my POV, you can see that this branch has a very, very thin tip to it. Now, you can see that this also has a very good running path to this branch. So, what we do is we combine both of these and what we learned from running, and we run as fast as we can. We jump to where we land exactly right there, and just for sakes of it, let's say we want to jump there, as shown in Apollo's video. So, if we combine both of those, we should be able to make a jump just like this. As you can see, I made a jump from that branch all the way to that skinny branch. Now, that was a very far jump, but since we combined all the techniques that we've already learned, we were able to make it with ease. Now, let's head to actually doing more further jumps, because as you can see, I don't really need momentum to make this jump, but it's better to have it. So, let's go back to the part where we can do longer jumps. Okay, so, now we know how to do a basic far jump. Now getting into the more depth of these farther jumps. As you can see, I didn't need momentum on the second try to get to that branch. But, if you take a look behind you, there is a branch right there that I can make from this platform. Now, how exactly do we do that? What we do is we get as much momentum as possible, we run up, and when hitting on this, if you hit properly, you could barely make it, but I would just recommend walking forward slightly. So, it should look something like this. As you can see, actually, not as you can see, but hopefully, if you saw that in the video, I kind of shivered a bit, which was when I was walking forward just slightly, which allowed me to make from that branch to this branch. And that's it. That is all you do to make farther jumps. You just extend your arm out as far. Okay, again, I will put a checklist on the screen. First thing, use what we learned from the first part. Second, get as much momentum as you possibly can using the stuff we learned from the first part. Third, get to the tip of the branch, as far up as the branch as you can, so that you get the most jump possible, if that makes any sense. And fourth, make sure to walk a little if needed to get to where you need to go. And that's it. That's all you need to know for how to jump farther. So, 2 down, 1 to go. How to do things more smoothly. On second thought, I will teach you guys that if this video gets, let's just say, 1,000 views in 1 week. I know that's a lot to ask for, but if this video gets 1,000 views in 1 week, I will show you guys how to do crazy, insane, smooth things in Gorilla Tag with ease. That's right. Share this with your friends. Do everything you can. Subscribe to the channel. And I will show you exactly how to smoothly do this with ease in Gorilla Tag so that you can improve your Gorilla Tag skills. Thank you for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.